So here the objectives are to understand what sustainability is, to learn about how Canadian cooperatives are talking about sustainability and how they are providing assurance on their sustainability reports, to learn more about the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, to develop awareness of the work of CEARC with Canadian cooperatives, to develop unique co-op metrics for the SDGs. So in terms of defining sustainability, one way is to define it as development which meets the needs of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. So sustainability has three interconnected dimensions: economic sustainability, social sustainability, and environmental. So it's important to learn about how cooperatives are thinking and talking about sustainability. Is it just talk, or do they have objectives related to sustainability? So here is a paper in the folder by Dogood and Balkin, where they look at, are cooperatives in Canada just talking the talk? Are they really doing anything about sustainability? So it's an interesting paper. With very few standards related to sustainability reporting, there is a risk that the data may not be valid. In addition, there's also concern about the potential for greenwashing. So typically, only the financial statements are audited, and non-financial information is typically not audited. To learn about how some co-ops are demonstrating their sustainability reports are valid, they are having the information reviewed, not necessarily audited, but reviewed by external auditors and accountants. And again, there's a paper here about how certain co-ops are taking measures to make sure that their information that they're reporting is actually valid. So in this section, we're going to examine how cooperatives are currently reporting on their performance. And again, Dr. Fiona Dogood has conducted a recent study of over 100 co-ops in Canada and globally, where she examined their annual reports or sustainability reports and websites. So the paper is noted here, Are Cooperatives Embracing the SDGs? A Content Analysis. So that's a very informative paper to read. So the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals. So after decades of work, 193 countries, including Canada, adopted the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development, and that was adopted in 2015. So in total, there's 17 Sustainable Development Goals. The United Nations says that the SDGs are a blueprint to achieve better and more sustainable future for all. They address global challenges we face, including those related to poverty, inequality, climate, environmental degradation, prosperity, peace, and justice. Another interesting project that's ongoing is something that we're doing here at CEARC, and it's a project called Accounting for Cooperative Transformation Act. So this is a framework that provides cooperatives with a user-friendly way to not only measure their SDG performance, but link the SDGs to the 7 principles. So reporting on the SDGs in the context of the 7 principles enables cooperatives to differentiate from investor-owned businesses, because many investor-owned businesses are also reporting on their SDG performance. So it's nice to be able to demonstrate how cooperatives are different in that respect. So while there are many measurement frameworks, it's important to introduce this new framework, ACT, to reflect the unique business structure of cooperatives as well as the cooperative difference from investor-owned businesses. The question here for Module 10 is, draw specific connections between the 7 cooperative principles and the UN Sustainable Development Goals. So what are the natural synergies and overlaps? And that concludes Module 10.